Hey everybody, Diecast Construction Expert here. As you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be a rant video. Um, I'd also like to start out by saying there will maybe be a few not so kind words said in the video, so if you don't really want to hear anything like that, then you might not want to watch, or you might even hit the dislike button. I don't know, maybe. But basically, there's been a lot of stuff going on lately in the community, and there's been people from inside of the community causing issues with one another, and there's also been people that are outside of the community causing issues. Um, and basically, I'm basically just getting so fed up with it to the point where I have mentioned on my Instagram page that have considered maybe deleting it. I haven't done that, but it's been something that has been on my mind because of all of this crap going on. It's been pretty ridiculous. And before I start anything else, before I get into anything too crazy, I want to start out by saying I have got a little bit of negative comments, I guess you could say, about my name, the Diecast Construction Expert name. The name is just what it is. It's just the name of my page. I've never claimed to be any type of expert. Um, I may be more knowledgeable than a lot of guys on the internet that say that they know this and that, which I'll be getting to a little bit later. But God, it's getting ridiculous. I put the name there, and all I've been trying to do since day one is um, essentially be one of the most well-liked diecast pages out there, I guess you could say, which has turned out fairly decently. And I've always been really appreciative of all of the followers that I have and everybody that's helped me along the way, whether it be Diecast Emporium, Diecast Construction Page, Patrick Crocker, Outback CM. Um, there's been just tons of guys. There's tons of good guys out there. I could go on for a while. Diecast Man. These are all Instagram names, by the way. Um, God, I could just keep going for days. Diecast Trucks. There's tons of pages out there that are really trying to bring back the modeling community as a whole, and I really do enjoy seeing that. But on the other hand, there has been a lot of I don't even know what some people would call it nowadays. I guess you could just call it a troll type page, where, I mean, some of these people are putting Legos next to their, I don't even know. It's ridiculous, and that's not even the problem, really. That's just one little tiny thing I'm getting into. But there's been a lot of nonsense type pages like that where I know of a few people, which I'm going to call out here in just a little while. Figured I'd kind of move this around, kind of show you this a little bit. There's been a few people that have basically made their Instagram page, and then they've gone out and they've made a secondary page, and it's, for whatever reason, it could be to smear somebody else. There's been a Pushy Dicks page out there run by who knows who, but I mean, there's tons and tons of stuff going on lately in terms of just trying to, I don't even know, I can't even relate. It's basically just causing problems, and it's trying to tear people down and make them feel bad. And oh God, I'm just gonna start naming names, I suppose. We'll just hop right in. last night actually. Adam Bishop, I'm guessing is his name. Adam underscore Bishop, just like just like you spell it, Adam Bishop on Instagram. This kid, I have put a grapple on a newer excavator, and for some reason or another, this kid is totally made up in his mind that this grapple can only be run one certain way, and just all this stupid bullshit arguing, just trying to make himself seem so much smarter, and then calling me, I don't even know, he made some stupid smart ass comments, and then in the end I ended up proving him wrong, and that was basically the end of that. And then I get on Facebook, and I found out that there was he was spreading shit on there about me because I don't know, he got his feelings hurt, I guess, because he wasn't well educated enough on heavy equipment. And guys like that just want to start problems with you. And the really sad thing is that apparently he's been a fairly decent, I wouldn't call him a custom model builder, but he repaints models, and apparently I've seen his work, he does a pretty decent job. And for no reason he wants to just act like this Instagram smartass, and then in the end he has to ask somebody else to give him information that isn't even good information. It's just sad. I mean, some of you all out there want to just act like you're, some of the people I'm talking about probably aren't even watching, but I hope that they are. That's who I'm really talking to. But getting back onto the subject, I mean, guys, it's literally we are a group of die-cast construction collectors, and I mean, in terms of other things that we could be collecting, like guns or cars or God, I mean anything. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of other things that we could be collecting theoretically, and everybody wants to act like this model that somebody else has is, or oh God, I mean some of you want to seriously get into these huge arguments where you're cussing people out, and somebody else I've seen doing that is over the average diecast or something like that on Instagram, just cussing people out left and right. Just, I mean, we have to remember here, guys, there are other people. I mean, I'm 22 myself. I know there's tons of other guys out there that are 30, 40, 50, and obviously so on and so forth, that are collecting, and at the other end of the spectrum there's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, and then, some of you all are just seriously making them, I mean, you hear stories about kids wanting to commit suicide, or kids that actually do it just because of something stupid that somebody said to them on Instagram, and some of the things that I see other people saying is like 10 times worse than some of the stuff that kids kill themselves over. It's ridiculous, and that's why I was somewhat hesitant to hold back some people's names tonight, but at this point, the people that I have named and am going to name still, I mean, it's just obvious that they're out to hurt other people and or tear apart the community. And while I have the word community here, the word community is a noun, by the way. It is a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Also a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. And that is exactly what most of us are. We all, for the most part, share a very, very big interest in heavy equipment and or farming equipment and or logging equipment or trains, or you name it. And, not everybody is capable and or has the opportunity to work in those environments, and or they do work in those environments and they want to have a bunch of models, or, it really just depends, obviously. I mean, there's so many different types of people, but there's no reason for anybody that one person that sticks out currently, Cole Carpenter. I mean, this guy he's done some tiny, I hesitate to call it custom work whenever you can just cut something up or just paint it or whatever. I mean, that's pretty basic stuff, but so in this guy Cole Carpenter, he has had, quite a few models, I guess, and might still have them, I don't know, but he'll go around to other people's pages and he doesn't even, he acts like he doesn't even collect anymore, and he wants to just sit there and call the models, which are not toys by any means. He wants to sit there and call them toys, or just say something looks like shit, or, some people, I don't even know how old some of these guys are on Instagram, but some of these guys have got to be 10, 11, 12 years old, and, they don't ever, hear anything like what some of you on Instagram are telling these kids. I can only imagine what it's got to be like for some kids, getting called these names and getting said such horrible things, and at the same time, these kids, while they may be slicing a model to bits, or, putting Legos in their diorama, I mean, obviously, most of the time, most people will just ignore that post or that page and just move on. But, there's no reason for anybody to ever sit there and, leave some fucking ridiculously offensive comment on somebody's stuff. And, that's like what happened with me the other night with, what's his name, Adam, whatever. He has, no reason or any right whatsoever to just sit there and say anything about what I've done. And especially whenever what I did is, what I did with the grapple was not common. And I explained that before he got all butthurt and upset. I explained that the grapple that I installed is not typically installed that way, but sometimes it is. And, some people really just don't understand that, you really don't know it all, if you just do some research, which is another, oh my god, another very, very sore spot with me. Whenever people will ask me, where did you buy this? Where did you, I mean, if you can type on Instagram, if you're on Instagram and you can see the picture of what I posted, and if you can't look at that picture and or look at the caption that I put underneath the picture and then type that into Google, I mean, I can't help you. I know, I mean, sometimes, I'll give people a break, but there's some people that really, I mean, there's one person, I'm not going to name his name because, I've tried to help him out as much as I can, and I still do, but, I mean, there's people that will direct message me on Instagram a picture from my page that says the exact model that they sent me the picture of, and they ask me what the model is. I mean, some of this stuff you can't even make up. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, I could just go on all night. I'm trying to touch as many points as I possibly can, because, I mean, there's a lot that needs to be said, and at this point, I mean, as a lot of you know, 328 DLCR, he is coming back into the community slowly but surely, and he's historically been one of the biggest voices for the community as a whole. And after he's left, I mean, there's really been nobody that's really even trying to keep things alive, for lack of a better term. There's been some people, Diecast Emporium, for example, that have somewhat, he hasn't been around YouTube for too terribly long, but he's been one of the few that's, been consistent with posting reviews, and, constantly trying to help others, and it's just really sad to see people like him also get really upset about these same things that I'm talking about, because, there's no excuse for it. Some people will say that they're sorry, and, 2 weeks later, or 2 days later, or 2 hours later, for all you know, they're going to be messaging you again, asking another question that can easily be answered on their own. And really, that's a small thing. Typically, I just ignore most things that, especially the obvious questions that, you can, if you would have just read what I wrote, then you would easily figure it out. And it's not like I write a paragraph. It's like a sentence or two. You can pretty much figure out what's going on. Oh, man. Another thing, a lot of people ask me to advertise for them on their page. That's just something that I really don't do. I will post other people's pictures, but I won't help you make money. I'm not in that business. However, there are some people that I am, if you have a relationship with me, and, we can, find common ground or something, then, we can work something out. But there's a lot of people that will just ask me to post up their models and sell them for them, and that's just not going to happen. And at the opposite end of the spectrum, myself and others, there's people that are trying to sell a $400, $500, whatever high dollar amount piece, and there's people that are serious, that are just lowballing the shit out of people. It's offensive. And then, whenever people, that do lowball others, find out, they don't want to be like, I'm sorry or anything. They just want to keep sitting there and arguing. I just don't understand the mindset of a lot of people, in the Facebook / Instagram community. There's a lot of people that really, really have a passion for this, and I've been collecting for at least 10 years now, and I know there's plenty of others that have been collecting much longer. There's a lot of people out there with a lot of opinions, and it seems like they only want to make their opinions seen or heard whenever, it's most convenient for them. I could literally go on all night, guys. It's just bad. And I've had my fair share of trying to sell things myself. I know I'm kind of jumping around here a little bit. It might be a little hard. I'm just trying to cover as much as I can in the time frame that I've got. And in my time of selling things, there's people that want to ask me if I'll sell something that's, maybe only worth $10, $15, and they want to know if I'll sell it to them for $10. Guys, you can't even hardly ship anything nowadays for less than $10. There's just no thinking going on with a lot of people. And another person I'm going to call out is Ben Hitachi. I had tried setting up a deal I was going to hook him up really good with a couple of models that he wanted, and I was going to even include some that he didn't want, but I was just going to give them to him anyways. And he was just constantly, I was asking for when he was going to send the money, and he would never send the money, and he was always telling me that he wanted it, so I held on to it for him for 2 weeks. And then whenever push came to shove, he finally gave me the money, and then ended up calling me a bitch. And who do you think you are, Ben? I mean, you're I just don't understand. I mean, there's no excuse for any of this. I mean, you're 13 or 14 years old, and I mean, I don't know if your parents taught you to talk like that or what, but you don't just go around having that type of disrespect for others. And somebody else, I don't even know, Hayden RT3, or Hayden Construction, something along those lines. I mean, I commented on one picture, and that was a very obvious, it was a clear joke. And then I get a message from him, I don't even remember what it said, but he basically was asking, "Who the hell do you think you are?" Acting like, he's going to come down from Canada to Georgia and beat my ass or something like that. I mean, I have no idea why any of you feel the need to be so belligerent, if you even know what belligerent means. Since I provided you with the definition, I think you can go and look up what belligerent means. Um, I mean, there's just absolutely no reason, guys. We're all, well, most of us. If you have a diecast model, you, or some of you have 100 or 300 or more. I mean, there's, just because you have, one, two, or 500 or whatever, doesn't make you any better or less. I mean, obviously, the guy with 500, he's probably going to know a little bit more, clearly, but, that there's no reason for the guy with 500 or whatever you want, however you want to look at it. There's no reason for the bigger guys or the people that are just the internet tough guys. There's no reason for any of this. I mean, if you want to pick on somebody, I mean, there's a lot other. I mean, there's, like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of different